Magandang umaga, Malacanang Press Corps. Welcome to our press briefing ngayon, July 19. The National Economic and Development Authority Board, or NEDA Board, chaired by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., had a meeting this morning and discussed various infrastructure projects for the board's approval. Para ibahagi sa atin ang mga pinag-usapan sa NEDA Board meeting, kasama natin ngayon si NEDA Secretary Arsenio M. Balisacan. Good morning, Secretary Balisacan.
Good morning, Daphne. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
It is my pleasure to update everyone on the agreements reached during the 7th meeting of the NEDA Board, which was presided over by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. this morning. Today, the NEDA Board approved 3 new infrastructure projects, while also approving changes to 4 ongoing projects, particularly in disaster risk reduction and climate change, irrigation, and transportation. Among the 3 new approved projects is the solicited proposal to rehabilitate, operate, expand, and transfer the Ninoy Aquino International Airport PPP project, also known as the solicited NIA PPP project. This project is under the Department of Transportation and the Manila International Airport Authority. With a total project cost of 170.6 billion pesos, the goal of the project is to address long-standing issues at NAIA, such as the inadequate capacity or passenger terminal buildings and restricted aircraft movement. It aims to increase the current annual airport capacity from 35 million to at least 62 million passengers. The NAIA PPP project also aims to increase air traffic movement from 40 to 48 per hour. The project is also expected to improve the overall passenger experience and service quality to prevent long queues, lengthy waiting time, and other passenger inconveniences. Another new project approved by the NEDA Board is the Samar Pacific Coastal Road 2 project, which amounts to 7.48 billion pesos. The project involves the construction of 2 marine bridges, the Lawang 2 Bridge and Kalumutan Bridge, and improvement of existing roads between Lawang Island and mainland Samar Island with a total length of 15 kilometers. Moreover, the NEDA Board also approved the unsolicited proposal for the upgrade, expansion, operation, and maintenance of the Laguindingan International Airport project, known as the Unsolicited Laguindingan Airport PPP project, located in Misamis Oriental. The project aims to integrate concepts of green and connected airports into its design and operation, and use digital technologies to enhance the passenger experience. This project will be implemented by the DOTR and the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, worth 12.75 billion pesos. The project supports the government's effort to enhance regional development and promote tourism in northern Mindanao and its neighboring regions. Meanwhile, the NEDA Board also approved requests for reasonable changes in scope, cost, design, and/or loan validity of 4 ongoing infrastructure projects. Lastly, the NEDA Board also confirmed the proposed adoption of a national policy on infrastructure sector master plans. The policy aims to harmonize and rationalize the formulation of master plans for the infrastructure sector across the government. This is to ensure that the master plans are coordinated, synergistic, responsive to emerging issues, and consistent with the sector's priority development challenges or strategies. Following this confirmation, an executive order will be issued to strengthen its implementation nationwide. Let me conclude by stating that the approvals made by the NEDA board today are evidence of the Marcos administration's strong commitment to achieving the objectives and targets of the 8-point socioeconomic agenda and the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. These plans aim to significantly reduce poverty and foster inclusive growth for all Filipinos. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Okay. Maris Umali, GMA7.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Maris Umali po of GMA7. Sir, how soon will we be expecting this NAIA PPP project to start? And will this be for the entire, or for all the terminals of the NAIA?
Yes, we expect to have the winning bidder within the year. And so as early as next year, we could have the project started. And yes, it will cover all the terminals, including all the facilities in both the aprons, the runways, and all related facilities there.
Including the facilities that became the source of problem during the January 1
Yes.
incident and the June 12, was it June 12 also?
Yes, yes. The part of the aim is there is to improve passenger experience.
Sir, can you just enlighten us? These are all infrastructure projects. Will this also be using funds from the Maharlika Investment Fund, considering that it has already been signed by the President?
This is a PPP project, so it's a private sector. It will involve private sector funds. No? Of course, the Maharlika can also invest in that by but if a private sector is already kaya na, I mean, why put your money there, right?
Okay. Eden Santos, Net 25.
Good morning po, Secretary. Ayan.
Good morning. Good morning.
Parang quick follow-up lang din po doon sa tanong ni Maris. Ano po, may mga binanggit pa po kayong mga ibang ongoing project. Ito po ba, ito po ba, pwede rin namang isama sa maaring budgetan po ng MIF?
Well, yeah, any of those 194 projects can be an investment project for the Maharlika Fund. Obviously, the board of that and the management of that corporation will have to decide on the basis of some considerations, including the risk appetite, the rate of returns, and because the rate of returns across these projects may vary.
Sabi po ng Pangulo, sabi niya, Sovereign Wealth Fund must be insulated from politics to ensure success ng ating MIF po, nilagdaang batas,
Right.
sabi po ng Pangulo. The question is, papaano po ito matitiyak or papaano yung gagawin para lamang po ma-sure na talagang walang magiging politika dito sa mga papasuking proyekto ng MIF?
We have to be, of course, we have to make quite a diligent search for the officers of the corporation who will be able to independently make decisions on those projects, and also by design the corporation has an advisory body that will also make recommendations on a number of important areas, including appointments of officers. It's only advisory, but that includes NEDA also as among the members of the advisory council.
Thank you po.
Nestor Corrales.
Good morning, Secretary.
Good morning.
Here. Sir, just on the PPP project for the operations and management of the NAIA, what does this mean for Filipino travelers, and what particular improvements will Filipino and foreign tourists expect from our country's main international gateway once this project is completed?
Well, the whole idea of rehabilitating that terminal is to make our airports also global standard, no? That what you experience in many other airports in our neighbors like Singapore or Thailand should be the same experience that you'll get in Naya once that rehabilitation and maintenance has been completed, no?
Do we have timeline for this, sir? When the
Yes,
pro-
well, yeah, as I said earlier, the start of rehabilitation and will happen as soon as that or we have selected the bidder, no, the winning bidder, and in the schedule prepared to us by our implementing agencies, na the DOTR. The activities that related to the terminals and other facilities, no, will start next year. So we are in a hurry to improve to address the issues there in the terminal, because as you have noted, tourism is one of the main drivers of the Philippine economy in the coming years, and we want to ensure that tourists who come here have a good experience.
Jean Mangalus, Inquirer.net.
Hello. I want to follow up on Ma'am Eden's question of how to avoid politics with the MIC selection, because the advisory council is also selected, if I'm not mistaken, also appointed by the president. So can you walk us through how you, NEDA, and the other members of the advisory council will select the directors?
Well, we still have to meet. Now that the law has been signed, we'll have to meet to define, develop our guidelines. We need to have guidelines, and those guidelines would have to be publicly accessible, so that we want to really ensure that this initiative will be a success, because we owe it to ourselves. We need to get this economy going, because otherwise may iwanan pa tayo. Naiwanan na tayo, and we don't want to be left behind for the ones who catch up. And we believe that this is one avenue, one additional pillar to these pillars that we're developing to get the economy moving forward. Not just forward, but to move fast, to catch up with our neighbors. That's why, to us, getting 6.5% to 8% growth every year is key, and ensuring that growth is inclusive, so that no one is left behind.
Mm-hmm. Sir, can I ask a follow-up? Were there other options to get, other than a wealth fund, were there other options to get the economy running as fast as the government would want?
Yes, there are. We are using investment, private investment. We are marketing our economy in other countries to get foreign investment. ODA, Official Development Assistance, will continue to be a part of that. But remember, if we succeed in becoming a upper middle income country, and which we are projecting to reach by 2025, then our access to concessional loans will also be now limited, no? Kasi we'll lose some of those advantages of being a lower middle income country or a low income country, no? But that's, of course, it's a much better situation if you are move to the upper middle income country. So we have to expand our sources of investment funds, particularly for our those required for our development push. Of course, GAAs, the general appropriation, will continue to be a major source of development funds, and growing the economy means also growing that source of fund. When the size of the economic pie becomes bigger, then you'll obviously have much more resources to meet our development requirements.
Okay. Kathy Valente, Manila Times.
Ay, sir. Good
Hi.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Ay, sir, hingin lang namin yung comment na some groups have expressed concern na this Maharlika Fund will put the economy at risk at saka baka daw madagdagan pa yung ating utang. So how do we ensure na this will not happen?
No, it will not happen by design because the fund that we are putting in there are quite, sort of idle funds, not funds that being utilized. And what the fund is trying to do is to put those into more productive, higher yielding instruments so that you can earn more from those funds. The other objective is to get co-investors, no? The investment community to invest into the projects supported by the fund, and so that the fund could grow bigger and could support more projects. So the earnings are again, if the officers and the board will do their work properly, then there's no reason why they can do their work properly. If the governance structure of the fund is put in place, a good governance structure, then it should be able to earn much more than what you are paying, for example, for death. So it's not meant to add to the debt, right? But rather to allow us to have other sources of funds so that in fact you can reduce your reliance to debt.
Alvin Baltasar.
Secretary, magandang umaga po.
Good morning.
Sir, going back doon sa... Secretary, balik lang po doon sa sec doon sa PPP project sa NAIA. In terms of ranking, doon sa ranking ng airport natin sa kumpara sa ibang mga bansa, ano ba ang ranking ng Pilipinas?
Well, as of the moment, honestly, the experience has not been that good, as we have seen from many reports, and observers of various parties, but then, thanks also for those, observations, we are now forced to address those issues and make our airport comparable to global standard. That's the aim. So by global standard, we mean, if we have just the facilities of Singapore, of Thailand, of even many of our neighbors, even the airports in Indonesia, right? You get quite a good experience, right? That's the same experience that you would want, if not even better, no?
So we're definitely left behind talaga ang Pilipinas in terms of sa airport natin.
Oh, dapat we'll get close to, or at least at par with other airports in the world, particularly our neighbors. Again, what we are aiming to achieve is our Filipino users of those facilities will have good experience, but also, and perhaps more importantly, our friends who come here, tourists who visit our shores, will have good experience, and so they're encouraged to come back, or they tell their experience to others, and so that way we can grow our tourism.
Okay. Maurice Umali again of GMA 7.
Sir, just to follow up on what Kath asked a while ago, one of the criticisms to the Maharlika Investment Fund is that it will greatly affect the 2024 budget. Do you agree to this, or why are they saying? But it's like a lot of the funds that are supposed to be allotted to the different sectors will now be used for the Maharlika Investment Fund. That's why she mentioned that it will greatly affect the 2024 budget.
No, to begin with, the amount is, is our total budget is going 5 point what now 3 trillion pesos. We are talking only about 125 billion, but even that is not part of the budget. These are funds that are not used idle in land bank and DBP, and also this remittance of the central bank or BSP to the national government. No, it's relatively it should not have effect at the national budget.
Sir, just a clarification, because there is a provision in the law which says pension funds are absolutely prohibited from investing in the Maharlika Investment Fund. But the President himself said that if the pension fund decides that the Maharlika Fund is a good investment, then it is up to them to invest to the MIF. With this pronouncement of the President, what will prevent them from using their funds to invest in the MIF?
Again, it's the implementing rules and regulations of the corporation will still have to be developed, and the guidelines, the investment guidelines will still have to be developed once the officers have been appointed and that board of trustees have met, because it's that group that makes those decisions, and where to invest, what to invest, what revenues to bring in. It's.
Sir, one last. When you mentioned a while ago that we will be getting co-investors, can ordinary Filipinos also invest in MIF? And what are the direct benefits to Filipinos if ever we are interested to invest in it as well?
Yeah, I don't think there is anything in the law that prevents Filipinos from co-investing.
So will it be open to like an IPO?
I'm not quite sure yet what the mechanism for doing that. That I think is going to be part of the working guidelines now that they'll provide. But as far as I understand, there's nothing that will prevent anyone from investing into it if you feel that you can get higher earnings. But likely, it's probably more the institutional partners. For example, we are wooing the pension funds of countries like in Canada, the pension funds there are said, okay, they are asking us, when is your fund, the Maharlika, going to start? They are keen of looking at the possibilities there, no? And you're talking about huge pension funds in many of these markets now. So it's perhaps even if you like it, maybe you may not have even have. Yeah. So, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Maricar Sargon, Brigada News.
Good morning po. Nabanggit po na Pangulo kahapon na this MIF can help to accelerate the implementation po ng 194 NEDA approved flagship project. Can you name po, sir, ng ilan sa mga project na ito?
Well, there are many of those projects that are quite viable, financially attractive for Maharlika. For example, we mentioned these airports. No, those are very productive, profitable projects. No, and that's why we expect quite a good a number of bidders to come in. But there are railways, expressways, especially maintenance and operation of such projects, no, could be also attractive for IPP, and we have many of those in that list, no, of priority projects.
Okay. Celine Dorado, Net 25.
Sir, hello
Yes,
po.
sir.
Celine po from Net 25. Still on the talks of MIF, how will the NEDA help on the success of the Maharlika Investment Fund? And what are the plans of NEDA po for the second year of PBBM's term since the MIF is signed into law?
Oh, we have so many works that to do as I keep on saying, we are so much left behind. We need to grow faster than what we have been doing for the last so many decades, no? And that means that you have a lot of work to do. For us, for example, at NEDA, we make sure that these high priority projects are going to be implemented in time, completed in time, and so we are closely monitoring those projects and are reporting regularly to the cabinet and to the NEDA, and to the president, no? So that we can address any issues that are hampering the completion of these projects. Number two, we are also on a lookout of possible other projects. The 194 is just the beginning. We are developing and assessing many other projects that will support our economic development, no? Of course, many of these projects, subsequent projects, will not necessarily be completed during the time of the president, but as a long term, as a strategy, and NEDA being the long-term planning body of the government, has to prepare for not only for this administration but for this succeeding administration. We are also on lookout and possible, all those reforms and regulatory measures that we have to improve to get the momentum going. We have a lot of those reforms to do, to push for. The LEDAC, for example, NEDA is the secretariat of the LEDAC, and we are the ones that screen and try to select for passage, priority passage, those projects that have high impact, particularly those that will influence the outcomes of our Philippine Development Plan and the 8-point socioeconomic agenda.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Eden Santos, Net 25.
Secretary, are we getting the investors for MIF? Yung po bang mga investors or possible investment, nagsimula na po bang mag-signify? Nabanggit nyo kanina yung Canada pension something sa Canada.
No, there are interests there now. Of course, it's all these pension funds are investing for the long term, no?
Mm-hmm.
And of course they just don't come in and invest. No? They will study you too. No? But the fact that they have signified their interest to look at the funds, of course they cannot make that final decision until they see what we have, no? And there are still no officers in the corporation, and it's not been set up yet. So, but we hope to be able to set it up within the year, no? So that next year should be already rolling, entertaining all those proposals by our investing community.
Do you have a deadline for the IRR or implementing rules and regulations?
As of today, the UF and DBM and DBM, the other agencies are all, particularly the Treasury are drafting the IRR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you, Secretary Balisacan, for the updates on the 7th NEDA board and the Maharlika Investment Fund as well. Thank you
sir.
so much, everyone. Malacanang Press Corps, good afternoon.
Thank you.